welcome to Detroit in Black and White, our Wednesday evening edition. Today, you just have two of us. We don't know if Allan is going to join, and we don't know if Adolph is going to join. But what we'll tell you is that Adolph is doing great. He is recovering. Talked to him today. Actually, I saw him today. Um, is Jim Nardone, the former chief of police of the Trenton Police Department. Well, I always want to say Detroit Police Department. I don't know because I know it's Trenton. But hey, Jim, how are you?
Good, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing just great. And of course, you guys have myself, Vanessa Moss, attorney, among other things. I'm not even going to name the list of things, but we're here Wednesday. Man, it's November. It's almost mid-November, right?
It is.
The year is going by really, really fast. Has gone by really fast. Let me say something before we get started with the conversation. First of all, I want to say good evening to Deborah Harris. Thank you so much for joining us. Our Wednesday edition, Dominique Richmond. Thank you so much. She said we saw him last night. I'm thinking she saw Adolph last night, I guess.
He was Monday night.
Yeah, he was on Reality Strikes, Eric Brown's Reality Strikes. Allan has joined us in the studio. Good evening, Allan. We're looking for you.
I totally
Eastside Al. He's here.
slipped my mind.
Good evening, Allan. Allan Lengel of Deadline Detroit, as well as the Washington Post. He has joined us. So I was right in the middle saying good evening to our guest, Janet Overall. Yes, she said yes Monday night with Eric Brown. Janet, overall, you know what? You know the assignment. You've already done it, and we love you for it. We want you to like, subscribe, and share. Like, subscribe, and share. For those of you that are joining us on Facebook, we thank you. You can watch Detroit in Black and White on all social media platforms. You can catch us every Wednesday and Friday evening from 8:30 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. and every Saturday morning from 10 a.m. to 11 p.m. Thank you so much. Like, subscribe, and share. Like, subscribe, and share. Yes, you are obedient. So we're gonna start with the person who joined last. You have a problem with that, Jim?
I do not.
Okay, we're gonna start with Allan because I'm trying to join our Facebook people on here. So, Allan, do you have an outrage, or is there something that you want to talk about?
I don't know. Teresa, are we seeing double screens, by the way?
I'm seeing that too. I thought it was me.
Yeah. Figure out what the hell is.
I thought it was me.
Did that happen when I was?
Look, I thought it was you too, Jim.
Well, yeah. We're seeing double screens. I don't know what's going on. Weird. Anyways, well, it looks like the House is going to pass or has passed the bill, the budget bill. I'm just blown away by how the Republicans can get away with blowing off healthcare. I mean, like I say, Obamacare is helping, low income people. It's great. It's still not addressing the middle income people who are really carrying the burden of healthcare, because the wealthy people don't care if their premiums are up to, whatever, $2,000-3,000 a month. But for the average person, but now what we're going to see is what are they talking about? 20 million people are going to they're not going to be able to afford the healthcare right now. It's just insane, which I don't understand it. Why, if you don't like Obamacare, bring something better, but don't make it worse. I just find it crazy that Americans are just like, oh, thank God we've got our government back again. But they're it's not only that, but Medicaid as well. I mean, the cuts in Medicaid. We're going to see there are rural hospitals in Michigan that rely on Medicaid payments, and they're going to whether they shut down or whether they just start closing like different things. Who knows? Teresa's trying to figure out how do we get rid of that. And then I've never seen it before where we've got a double screen.
Well,
At least we know we're not having
they have triple trouble. That's okay.
we know we're not stroking out here.
Right, right. Maybe when we go on a break, when we take our first break, maybe we'll be able to straighten it out.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out.
So we have. I'm going to address some of the people, and I'm going to address you. You said, Allan, that you're disappointed, but listen, it sounds to me like this is just a band-aid over a wound. I mean, this is only it's January, so what, a month and a half? And they're saying, and I say they, the media is saying that we could have another shutdown in January. I don't know if 67 Vanessa. I don't know if that is will be the outcome in January, but listen, there are people, there are constituents who says, listen, we want the government open back up. We want to be able to fly where we want to fly. We want to get our SNAP benefits. And those people who are out of work, we want to get back to work. So I understand that these people feel like, listen, yeah, that's important. But right now, we hurting right now. We need something right now. And like I said, I think it's a Band-Aid. I do think that the party has highlighted, because I think for a long time people weren't really paying attention to how much of an impact it's going to have on their pockets in terms of medical care. And then the other thing is inflation is real. People, the president of the United States said, listen, when I do these tariffs and when I do these other things, it's going to hurt. It's going to be bad before it gets better. And, quite frankly, if you live long enough, when things go bad, they always get really, really dark before you see the light. But people are like, listen, 42 days is enough. And you know what? You guys are getting paid. You guys have health care for the rest of your life, which I totally find offensive. We're paying for you to have lifetime health care. But these other people, people like myself, I can have health care, but it's going to cost a fortune, and that's just not cool. So we'll see what happens in January.
The Obamacare, like I say, it put a lot more. It gave coverage to a lot more people, which we're going in the wrong direction. This country, I mean, we have there's a lot of countries, Canada, different countries around the world that have socialized medicine. People should be able to afford medicine. We're talking about, I mean, people go to Canada now. You can get cheaper prescription drugs. I've been doing I have 2 implants that I've been doing in Canada for half, instead of $7,000. And this is just the implants, not the crowns.
Yeah, you'd be uneven with just one, Allan. You need
yeah. Instead of $7,000, it's $3,500 in Canada. And it takes me 20 minutes to get there from, through the border and everything like that. But, people are flying all around the world to do dental care. They're going to Mexico, they're going to Turkey, they're going all different stuff. And I mean, and there are people who are going to Southeast Asia for medical surgeries and stuff like that, because they can't afford, it's outrageous. They can't afford to be healthy here in the US.
Well, you have one of our viewers, Mike Evans. He says Obamacare was Obamacare. The Republicans ain't got nothing to do with Obamacare. That was all Obama's Democrats. So why should the Republicans bail them out?
Well, wait a
minute. You go ahead and answer it.
Wait, can you read that one more time?
He says, basically, he said that that was Obamacare. Obamacare was his program. And he says the Republicans don't have nothing to do with Obamacare. And why should the Republicans bail the Democrats out?
Well, let me say, first of all, there are Republicans who are not getting health care. There are plenty, it's such a misnomer that there are red states where Republicans are getting Medicaid, Republicans are getting Obamacare. It's outrageous to hear somebody say that. It's not a Democratic or Republican thing. I mean, people are going without health care. And it's to say, look, Obamacare is not the end all to it. It's not a perfect solution. bring a better one on, but don't throw millions, tens of millions of people off, healthcare rolls. To say that it's why should the Republicans care? Why does Marjorie Taylor Greene give a shit? Because her sons are having to pay more money. It's not a Republican thing, and it's idiocy to say that it is. I'm sorry. It really pisses me off for people to jump in I don't know. Excuse me.
Jim, what do you have to say?
I want to say hi to our friends. Hey, Dorian. Good evening to you, Hognut7421. I understand dental work is not fun. I've been there myself. Les Nessman, Obamacare has been gutted by the Republicans. Now they're claiming it's broken. They removed the funding mechanism and incentives for healthy people to sign up. I can barely see these. Just change the name to Trump Care. Trump Care, Ms. Sheila? Is that what you're saying? That's interesting. Chuck Schumer failed to meet the moment. I'm on this little iPad. I'm trying really hard here. He can't control.
Okay, you want me to try to read some of it?
If you don't mind.
Okay, Annie Lewis. First of all, I want to give a shout out to Annie Lewis. Annie Lewis says, good evening. I just started watching the last couple of weeks. I like the show. We like that you like the show. And you know what we're going to ask that you do? You're going to tell all your friends about the greatest show on these YouTube streets. Like, subscribe, and share.
Thank you for joining us. Yes.
Yes. Deborah Harris says, wait a minute. Okay, mine is, what's going on? Okay, she said healthcare insurance will rise sky high for everyone. Stephanie Jackson, good evening. Hognut says the scream froze Coach T. Good evening, ladies and gents. They said they're going back to studying.
Hognuts, I think. Good, Bishop, study hard.
Hognuts. C. Bishop, I think that's Dre.
It's Day.
C. Bishop, Day. C. Bishop said hi.
I'm glad Day's with us. Where have all our friends been? Where are Marlon and Cashmere? Where are all those people at? If you guys see them around, tell them to tune back in.
Somebody says, say 67, Vanessa. I don't know what that means, but 67. Good evening, team. Good evening, Kenneth Reed. Hazel Park. Hey, glad you're back. You couldn't explain that to these suburban residents when their hospital gets closed down and have to drive 30 minutes to get medical care. I'd like to get feedback after that. Kenneth Reed says a Band-Aid over a gunshot wound. Absolutely. Karen Winston. Good evening, Karen. Looking forward to seeing you later on next month. Good evening, everyone. And
Angela, did you say hi to your friend?
All. Angela Beatty. Good evening, Angela Beatty. Who else?
Deborah Harris.
I've said hello to Deborah Harris.
Thank you.
Dorian Denard, good evening. Les Newsom, Obamacare has been gutted by. You already read that.
Nessman, WKRP.
Yeah, Miss Sheila says, just change the name to Trump. Let's move forward. Thank you. Mr. Duckett, we've been waiting decades for the Republican alternative to Obamacare. Meanwhile, the White House ballroom gets a makeover. That's a comment by Karen Winston. Annie Lewis said, yes, she will. That means she's going to tell her friends about Detroit in black and white. And so that's just about it. So, Jim, you don't have a response to Mr. Evans' comment?
I'm sorry, what was the comment again?
The comment was basically Obamacare was his program, and the Republicans don't have nothing to do with it. And why should the Republicans bail them out? The Democrats.
Well, I mean, it's a government program that was voted on by the House and the Senate, and it's called the Affordable Care Act. It's not called Obamacare. I think that's not a positive way to look at it.
Absolutely.
We should be, I always talk about my dear departed old friend John Dingell, who was, at the helm, standing there next to the president when he signed that bill, something he worked on for about 60 or 70 years. So they got to fix it. We need healthcare in this country. We can't have people going from $250 a month to a premium of $1,200 a month. They need to figure it out.
$1,000 a month. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And
It's
I
not a
find it-
Democrat problem. It's not a
it's
Republican
not. It's an
problem.
American problem. If you're
Exactly.
an American, it is a problem. And for people to let me say this, Jim. I agree with you when they say Obamacare, just like they say the Obama phone. First of all, those government phones, way before Obama came into office, I think
Ronald Reagan.
President Ronald Reagan. So stop it. If you're watching this show, listen, we learn from you, but you also gonna learn from us, and you're gonna learn today. Okay.
We'll
The
work together here.
Obamacare is not Obamacare. It is Affordable Care Act. And guess what? The politicians have gutted it so that people could not afford it. And
They want to
so
make fun of it.
as humans, what we do is we want to blame somebody. So we're gonna blame Obama and the Democrats. Listen, it's the people that we voted for and put in office that's the blame. It started off as, listen, we want to make healthcare affordable for everybody, not just the middle class, not just the upper class. We want to make it affordable for everybody, and affordable is fluid. It's not affordable for everybody. It's not even affordable for those people that are working. So, I think it is ridiculous. We don't know what's going to happen in January, but surely if it's not taken care of in January, listen, you're going to have a big election. In the next 2 years, things are going to change. So they can't get rid of the Affordable Care Act. So what do? We're going to keep gutting it, and then we're going to blame it on them. Listen, stop looking at the ball that's moving and look at the big picture. Okay. Go ahead.
There's an article also that Trump saw something on a fake web. The guy complains about fake news sites. He goes to these fictitious news sites that say they are, they're fictitious. They're having fun. So he promotes it and says that Obama's getting like $40 million in commissions from Obamacare, which is totally 100% false. And he puts it out there. I've never seen, just an irresponsible child, a petulant little child using his True Social to he reads these websites say these stories are fiction, and he pulls it off of there and writes it as the truth.
Let's have some fun tonight. Hey, G Money Hollywood, we see you out there. You look good tonight. Kenneth Reed said that the vote's bad. He stated the result of 50,000 people could die. Well, that's Bernie Sanders. Free healthcare is higher than I lost it. Sorry, guys, I'm looking at a little iPad here. Stephanie had something. With free healthcare is higher than those who are required to pay, the rates are going to increase. It's an American issue. It's not an Obama issue or a Trump issue or an Allen issue. It's a big issue. So let's talk about some fun things, can we?
Well, let me say something, that if people are under the impression that Obamacare is free, it's not. It is
nothing
supplemented. It's supplemented.
Nothing in life is free.
Some people pay whatever it is, $90, $100 a month, which is great. Cheap. But now, it's going to go up to $400, $600, $700, things that people can't afford. So what's going to happen? You eat, or, you always do the immediate thing. If you need to eat today, you're not going to worry about some healthcare issue a week from now. So.
Yeah, Mr. Duckett says anything that has to do with Obama really bugs Trump. I came across a couple of stories that I want to talk about this evening. And of course, we're going to talk about, weigh in on the comments that our viewers have. But before we do that, what we're going to do is we're going to go to break, and then we'll come back, Detroit in Black and White, our midweek edition.
Hi, I'm Eric Sabri, your Wayne County Treasurer. Are you living in the home of a deceased family member and you're facing property tax foreclosure, or maybe you know someone who's in the same situation? The probate process may be helpful to you. If you file a probate petition and notify our office, The foreclosure proceedings will be halted during the probate process. We have several nonprofit partners who have free attorneys who can assist you. Contact our office, 313-224-5990, or email us at taxinfo@waynecounty.com. Don't lose your family property. Some of these properties have been in the family for 4 or 5 generations. Contact us now. We're here to help.
We're back. Vanessa, you're on mute. You're on mute. We are back. Anyways.
Yeah, we're back. I'm sorry. We're back. Detroit Black and White, our midweek edition. Thanks, Allan, for pitch hitting. So I want to talk about, there's 2 interesting stories that I came across. One was about the mayor of Galloway, Tennessee. Did you guys see that? 65-year-old?
Did not.
Okay, so 65-year-old mayor. He's in his second term. There was a traffic stop last Friday. They stopped his vehicle because the windows were tinted. He had a non-functioning tail light. When they stopped him, he was acting very suspicious. At the end of the day, what happened? They found crack cocaine under the front passenger seat of his vehicle. Now, he was the only one in the vehicle. He's 65 years old. And of course, I was like, wow, you're 65 years old. And I mean, this is real. Drug abuse is very prevalent and is very real. But this guy is the second term mayor in Galloway, Tennessee. And when I read the story, I thought about, remember the guy in Canada that was using drugs? And I mean, he was like a loose cannon, and he passed.
The mayor
yes.
of Toronto, who's now something else.
Oh,
I'm not sure he's alive anymore.
No,
I thought he was in. I thought he was in the administration. Ford was his name, right?
Yeah, I think Ford.
He had a heart attack. But when I read this, right, he's old, 60, not crack. Yes, crack. Oh, snap. Absolutely. When I read the story, I was like, oh my God, he's 65 years old.
Easy, Miss Sheila.
I'm sorry.
Right.
She says, she said old.
Mayor Ford, Rob Ford from Toronto died in 2016.
Oh, he did? Okay.
At the age of 46 from cancer.
Oh, okay. All right. I'm getting confused.
He was, she called him an old junkie. Yeah, at 65 years old. I just think I feel bad for him, but I also say that's a crying shame. And of course, he's still in office. He says, of course, he denied the allegations. So I'm going to keep up with what's going on in the story. The other thing is, last week we talked about Allan. I don't know. I think it was Allan who said that there was a blue wave last week. But I want to talk about what happened in Georgia. The people of Georgia voted for two new people to be on the Public Service Commission, and the 2 seats went to Democrats. Now, why is that? Why do I find that important? Because we have the Michigan Public Service Commission. In Michigan, we don't vote for those people. Those people are appointed by the governor. Okay. And so we have people that are on a commission that have been appointed by Governor Whitmer. You have somebody that's, been appointed on the commission by Governor Snyder, Governor Engler. The bottom line is, I'm saying that those are political positions, but they are appointees here in Michigan. Whereas in Georgia, these people are voted in on the commission. And what is so interesting is that we always talk about how politics is local. It is. And it's very important because when you're talking about the Public Service Commission, what are we talking about? Utility bills, light bills, heating bills, and that kind of thing. And when I looked further into the story, I found that it was people that lived in the rural areas voted overwhelmingly for these 2 people because guess what? Not only is food expensive, but their light bills are expensive, their heating bills are expensive, and they want some help and they want some change. So the point of me telling the story is that we have to pay attention to what is going on. Politics is local, and when you vote people into office, the governors into office, you need to understand what power and control they have and what power and control you have as a constituent.
All right. I see Mary Sheffield is having some meetings, public meetings already. I think it's tomorrow, maybe, to talk about the new administration and what people want and all that, which is great. I just hope that I just hope that she governs in a way that's transparent and is not, I think the days before the election, the way she addressed her conflict of interest was really shameful. And I hope that's not a sign of what's to come. I mean, they lied. Her chief of staff lied blatantly about saying that she rejected all contracts involving somebody she was romantically involved in, when in just 1 year she approved $4 million in contracts. And so if they have that attitude that they can just blow smoke up the media's ass and then get mad at the media and say, oh, you wouldn't do this for Duggan or whatever, I think we're going to have some turbulent times. I hope that she figures out that the best way is to be transparent and honest.
Well, go ahead. Go ahead, Jim.
And I was going to say, and the press can do the same thing. It seems that the BBC has a problem with honesty, doesn't it?
Right.
It seems like there's a lot of we can blame it on the politicians, but the press doesn't seem to be doing their part very effectively either.
Explain. I'm missing what's
the BBC. I guess this is the story, right? I don't know, but the BBC. Who's gone from the BBC today? The Director General, Tim Davie, and the head of news, Deborah Turness, both resigned in the last few days because apparently they pieced the January 6th speech, spliced it together, and didn't include the whole speech. And Trump is, I guess, in the process of suing them for $1 billion. He may put the BBC out. It's clear that they were dishonest and deceitful.
I read a little bit. I read a little bit about it. Explain. Did they take something from two different speeches, or did they
same speech, 50 minutes apart,
and
put it together, suggesting that Trump was advocating violence when clearly, at that particular point during the speech, he was not advocating for violence. So I don't know if any of them are being honest with us, any of us. So. Come to Detroit in black and white. At least we'll give you an honest story.
Right.
We don't have to lie to you. There's what would motivate the BBC to lie to the people, to the world, about Donald Trump? If Donald Trump is as bad as he says he is, let him show us. You don't have to make it up.
There's enough there to show that he's dishonest and deceitful. And I mean, I'm outraged at the Justice Department, the FBI. It's interesting. The Wall Street Journal just had a piece today about the FBI talking about the raids in Dearborn. They say Kash Patel, if you followed it all, early in the morning, he put on X announcing the raids and saying we've saved, without being very specific, but saying, hey, we saved terrorist attacks on Halloween weekend. Have a safe weekend. Well, first of all, normally, the protocol is if you're going to do raids in an area like that, the police chiefs in the area are briefed on it, particularly, and people didn't know what was going on. They were saying that police chiefs were calling each other and saying, hey, what's happening here, which is sort of a violation of protocol there. And the other thing is that he put out the word too soon, and it gave these guys in New Jersey time where they were trying to get on a plane. Luckily, they were caught at Liberty Airport there, but I think in Newark. But it's just they're firing dozens of people from the FBI who are not loyal to Trump. They're having people sign these loyalty things. They're pushing out prosecutors everywhere, down in Miami, at the Justice Department. They said the Washington Post had a story saying, I can't remember the number, but it's like 500 employees of the Justice Department have left, either since Trump took over, either not all prosecutors, but a lot of prosecutors, and they haven't been able to fill those positions because they're highly skilled positions, and it takes a while to find the right people. So we're seeing a meltdown of our justice system in a way that, I mean, they're moving at a rapid clip, and he's only been in power, what, 10 months? It's dangerous what's happening.
So I'm going to go to one of the viewers, to some of the viewers. During Denara said Mary is completely unethical. The feds are watching. Mr. 1213, 1213, he says he's concerned about the contaminated dirt, which is very interesting because I saw someone who made, they're making TikTok videos and they were talking about that contaminated dirt. Now, the story is about giving the guy the contract and all the money that he made. And that is what people are really focusing on. But the fact that you're taking dirt, contaminated dirt, and put it in somewhere where people are living, the grass is not growing in that area. People can't open their windows. Those people that have opened their windows, they're talking about they have breathing issues. That is a huge deal. And I would think that the mayor of the city of Detroit, I mean, I liken it to it, you know, just like people turned their head about the contaminated water in Flint, we're talking about dirty dirt. And if you have dirt and the animals don't want to walk on the dirt and the grass isn't growing, that is a huge concern. So, Mr. 1213, I'm with you. That is a huge concern. What do you guys have to say about that, Jim? Allan?
Well, I think the contaminated dirt, look, I have a friend who lived in Oak Park, and on his block, it was the homes were built on a former landfill. He died of lung cancer at 34. He never smoked. Another person on the block had testicular cancer. They had a bunch of illnesses on the block. So those are very dangerous situations when you're putting contaminated, you know, you're not supposed to be living on contaminated dirt like that. And particularly you're going out there and who knows what's being emitted in the air from that type of stuff. It's interesting. They just suspended the guy who was, you know, who was accused of supplying the dirt to the other guy. And he's claiming that he only provided a fraction of the dirt. So it's going back and forth. Who knows what's going on? I mean, the dirt is supposed to be contaminated that came from Northland, where the development is going on there, or, you know.
Well, that development has stopped. They ran out of money over there at Northland. So all you see is mounds of dirt. Who knows what's going to happen over there? But to take that, first of all, you've made all this money. I get it. But I'm talking about the impact that is having on the lives of people that are impacted by this dirty, contaminated dirt. And who do you hold responsible for? Do you hold those people who voted for these individuals to have these contracts? Do you hold them accountable for it? Especially if they knew that these people were troublesome in the first, second, and third place. What do you think, Jim?
Well, here's the issue. I went, when I first initially heard about this, and I watched the Charlie LaDuff podcast, which was really interesting and insightful on it. Mary, obviously, he attacked the current mayor and the mayor in waiting, I guess, and he got a lot of pushback from the family and from some other people. But I think their estimate was somewhere like $18 million to clean it all up. So I went to some people that I know that held positions in government in the area I am in. And you know what they told me? The first thing they told me is, that's been going on for 50 or 70 years. Don't even worry about it. It has nothing to do with Mike Duggan. It's no issue. It's no issue for, basically what they said, it's no issue for Mike Duggan. It's no issue for Mary Sheffield. So mind your own business is kind of the answer I received after talking to several people. So it is kind of troubling. But it depends on who thinks it's a big deal. It depends on if the Free Press wants to keep kissing her ass or they think it's a big deal. If the Free Press keeps licking her chin or whatever they're doing there, and you know, if they keep building her up, instead of holding her accountable, then it won't matter. It doesn't matter what they do if nobody holds them accountable. So I'm not suggesting it's Mary Sheffield's fault. It might be Mike Duggan. It could be the council. It could be anybody's fault. But I can tell you right now, at the rate we're going at, we'll never find out whose fault it is, and it'll never matter.
Well, I mean, the bottom line is, look, if you know there's an issue with dirt, which we've known for years and years and years, there should be some form of inspection and oversight, and apparently more aggressive than it's happening. We're waiting in retrospect where the city's now, the dirt's already been laid down there. There should be some tighter controls where, you know, I mean, here's people making millions and millions of dollars, and now it's going to take I think they tested like 80% of the sites they tested were found to be contaminated dirt. That means somebody's going to have to pay to get that dirt out of the ground.
Right.
But who's going to force them to do that, Alan? Tell me who's going to push the city to do that.
The city will have to do that.
But how will
the EPA?
Yeah.
My OSHA, who's going to do it? Who's going to say, Mary, we don't love you. We're going to hold you accountable. I don't see it. Maybe on Detroit in black and white, maybe on Deadline Detroit, but I sure don't see the Free Press, the News, or any of the other commercials.
Charlie Duff has been on that story forever.
Well,
and then one of our viewers talks about Charlie Duff and conspiracy theories. Well, that may be true. We don't know the truth.
right.
We don't know if Charlie is telling. I mean, it sounds like it's accurate, but we don't know. Just somebody else, I think.
Well, there was a report, an internal report, which said they tested the soils, and they tested 80% of the ones that they tested showed to be contaminated. So we do know there's an issue here. We don't know why it's happening. Each supplier is blaming the other supplier, but you know, we got. I mean, the city, it's a shit show that. You know, people's healths are put on the line. I mean, we can't have that. We can't have contaminated water like we've had in Flint.
Exactly. That's exactly where I was going.
Thank you. You don't like my music for tuning in.
That's why we have government.
Right. People ignored what was going on in Flint, and it became a national story. Why? People were dying. People are still impacted by that.
They don't care, but it's the same people.
Yeah, and what I'm saying, you're saying it's the same people. They're doing the same thing, right?
Yeah.
You're saying that they've been doing it for 50 years.
And that's my answer. That's the answer I received when I asked about it. Oh, it's no big deal. Don't worry about it. It's been going on forever. Yeah, it went on in Flint, and it's going on all across this country, and people are dying, you know, in New York and California and all these places. And until, you know, a lot of people die, the answer was from a government insider. Mind your own damn business. Mr. Duckett talks about the editing process and media is being penalized. Well, Mr. Duckett, thank you for your comment. Let's just get the truth out there. Why don't we just publish the truth and let you decide if they're lying or telling the truth instead of cutting it all up? I mean, let us make our own decision. The press doesn't want you to make a decision, Mr. Duckett. They want to tell you how to think, and they all have an agenda, and it's getting old. It's wearing people down.
Well, I'll say that not all have an agenda. I mean, look, as you said before, you don't really have to make up anything to show that Trump had some hand in January 6th. We've seen the speeches. We've seen the January 6th committee where they said for 2.5 hours they couldn't get him to come out and tell people stop. When he finally did 2.5 hours later, he said, okay, you're all great people, time to go home. They all went home. He could have ended that much earlier. So you don't really need to make up anything when you have all the ammunition you need.
You know what? One of our viewers, Les Nessman, and thank you so much for commenting and participating. He says, apathy is contagious. Isn't that the truth? Deborah Harris says, yes, the city of Detroit has taken significant action to correct the issue of contractors using substandard or contaminated dirt.
Thank you.
Suspending contractors, ordering the removal. So, you don't like my music says the petrochemical industry. He's talking about them and their contamination. Ms. Shigula says, thanks, Jim, for the truth. Karen Winston says, the person that dropped the ball is the inspector that should see the manifest tickets of the dirt being moved and delivered. Deborah Harris says replacement of the material imposes substantial fines and banning the responsible parties from future city contracts. The city's actions are detailed in several reports and news. Yeah, but how does that rectify the problem? We had somebody that went out somewhere where the dirt was laid. I'm telling you, the grass is not growing. The animals don't want to walk on it. I mean, it's just a terrible situation. And as Jim says, what are they going to do? Are they going to do anything about it? If we're not talking about it, and if the media, the mass media is not talking about it, nothing is going to be done. Look what happened in Flint. That had been going on a long time before it garnered national attention. And still, we still don't know what's going on there. Okay. People are still suffering in Flint.
Why isn't it on NBC News? Why isn't it on ABC News, World News Tonight? What? Why not now? Why wait 5 years when we lose a bunch of kids or lose people to this?
You know what? We don't need ABC, or we don't need the national media to do it. We need the local media to be aggressive about it. Cranes did report on another supplier. The supplier who supplied this guy has been suspended, but we need the local media. I mean,
my point was the national news picked up Flint.
Right. Go ahead.
Well, Flint was just so, I mean, that had reached such crisis proportion, the whole city.
That it became a story.
Yeah, I mean, the whole city. I mean, here it's like, it's not the whole city, but it's still a crucial thing, you know.
We're gonna take a break. Your comment. We're gonna come back. Detroit Black and White, our Wednesday evening edition.
Hi, I'm Eric Sabria, your Wayne County Treasurer. If you're living in the home of a deceased family member and you're facing property tax foreclosure, the probate process can be helpful to you. If you file a probate petition and notify our office, the foreclosure proceedings will be halted during the probate process. Contact us at 313-224-5990 or email us at taxinfo@waynecounty.com. We're here to help.
Nearly 30,000 vacant lots all over the city of Detroit are for sale right now. That's right, nearly 30,000 vacant lots are available now, starting at just $100. The lot next to your house or the lot down the street. Make it yours today in just a few simple clicks. Find out if it is available by visiting buildingdetroit.org. At the Detroit Land Bank Authority, side lots are just $100 and neighborhood lots sell for $250. You can apply and pay online today by visiting buildingdetroit.org. And if you don't see the lot you're looking for, call our offices. Our phone number is 313-974-6869. Again, that is 313-974-6869.
We're back, Detroit Black and White, our Wednesday evening edition. While we're on a break, I got a text from Mr. Evans. He says the reason that, and I'm paraphrasing, 247 local news isn't covering it. They're not covering because it's in a Black neighborhood and they don't care. And I think he said the same thing. That they did the same thing with Flint. What do you guys have to say to that?
Well, yeah.
Go ahead,
Al. I'll say look, if it was happening in Bloomfield Hills, would it be a bigger story? Probably. I mean, there could be some truth to that. It's not as pressing of an issue. It's in the city. It's in a poor neighborhoods or whatever. I mean, that's very possible. But I wanted to answer one of our viewers was asking if the ombudsman left because of this, and the answer is his 10 years were up. He has nothing to do with the dirt. He's not inspecting the dirt. He's not. He was there more to help people out in the city who are having maybe issues, which people should realize. If you have problems with agencies in the city, you can reach out to the ombudsman and say, look, I'm trying to take care of my water bill and this is happening, or I'm trying to get the city to come out and there's a car sitting on my block for 10 weeks already. The ombudsman's there to facilitate, to help you out. But, the ombudsman's he doesn't do the inspections like that, and he's not responsible in any way. And I thought the ombudsman did a great job. Bruce Simpson was I thought did a great job in Detroit. So.
Yeah, I can't wait to see what he's going to do next. Dorian Denard says, Vanessa, we are talking about it. We need podcasts and snippets going viral. Deadline Detroit can't stop talking about it. So basically, he said it's our responsibility. Since 247, the local news isn't talking about it. It's our responsibility. Detroit Black and White.
But
Deadline Detroit.
Flint,
Reality strikes. The week that was. It's our responsibility to talk about it. Go ahead, Allan.
I was going to say, when people say in Flint, Flint's probably, I think it's pretty much 50-50 in terms of racial composition there. I think people see it. Flint is a black city, but it's split. I think it's pretty close, but I think there it was the whole city was contaminated, and I think people were getting sick. And I think what we're seeing is that, with contaminated dirt, a lot of people aren't going to get sick immediately like they were of the water in Flint. It could be 2 years from now. It could be, when you get radiation, radiation treatments, sometimes intense radiation treatments for like breast cancer or whatever. Sometimes you get leukemia 5 years later. It's not an immediate thing. So,
but you know what? One of the things that our viewer said, I think is true. He said Flint is poor. You could say the same thing about Detroit. I mean, look at the poverty rate. So do they even give a hell about dirty dirt in a neighborhood or in an area where, listen, they don't expect for people that live in poverty, they don't expect for their lifespan to last long anyway. So why would they be concerned? I mean, I think that is a real question. Jim Money Hollywood says, Jim,
Yes.
mass media is not the same, not at the national or local level. It has declined so badly because all they now employ is internship candidates that wants a chance to report the news. No true and presentation of experienced true journalists.
And thank you, Adolph. Our host, Adolph, is weighing in out there. Thank you, Adolph. We hope you're doing okay. The point G Money Hollywood and Allan corrected me correctly there. Let's put that together. My point was that Flint became a big story. That's all I was trying to get at, and that's what I meant by the national news.
A national story, absolutely. I mean, it became an issue of the presidential race, and the problem is, Flint is not unique. There are other cities around the country that have water issues. They just happen to.
And other cities around the country that has poverty and dirt issues where people don't give a damn, as Jim said, and they're not going to do anything about it because guess what? The rich get rich off of the poor, and they don't give a damn about the lives of the poor folks. And guess what? If it's not a attention-grabbing news story, guess what? They're not going to talk about it. The reason why it was part of the presidential election is because everybody was talking about it. But guess what? It was a cycle. Because you know what? Those people that are living in Flint, their lives are still impacted by that water. Legionnaire's disease don't just pop up, one day and go away. And then people die from it. Just like from breathing issues of dirty dirt and that kind of thing. So, people, you can miss me with that.
When will it be important is the question. When will the news find it important? When will the news decide that $64 million in contracts is enough to kind of look around and see what's going on in the city of Detroit? Is it going to be 5 years, 7, 9 years? Is that what they're going to do? They're going to wait until kids start dropping in Detroit that, with whatever illness that this contaminated soil spreads throughout the community. And when they put it all together 15 years from now, they're going to say, well, this is important. Now it's a big story. Is that what's going to happen? Or is it never going to happen? Is it because it's in a black community? That's a great question.
Right.
Is it because it's in a poor community? Or
I think it's economics. Well, it could be both, but
it is tough because Detroit is black and it is poor.
Right.
Flint was predominantly black and it is poor.
No, Flint is not.
It could be. It is.
Flint is poor, but it's not. It's a mix of black and white.
Well, people will say the same thing about Detroit being mixed and black.
Well, they didn't care. They didn't care about Flint. They didn't care about Flint until it got caught.
85% black.
Yeah. So, but go ahead, Allan.
No, I'm just saying look, poor people get screwed. I mean, look at the marathon oil company, how long they were operating, where they were finally starting to buy out homes around there in the Southwest near one of the great restaurants, Giovanni's, is sort of in the shadow of this. You go there, and there's just billowing smoke from the refinery there, and there's so much pollution. Detroit is one of the more polluted cities. I remember I did a story in Deadline Detroit recently where Detroit ranked as far as pollution higher than Los Angeles, which is always considered one of the worst. So Detroit has a lot of pollution and a lot of bad air, and you know
what? Kim
everyone.
brings up a good point. It's called environmental racism. When I was in law school, that was a hot topic. It is very real. When you're talking about dirty dirt, when you're talking factories or what do they call assembly plants or whatever, landfills in areas where people live, it's called environmental. In areas where the home values are low, in areas where the income level of the homes is very low, that is environmental racism. And when you ignore people saying, listen, this is not right. This dirt over here, I can't breathe. I can't raise my window. My kids can't go outside and play on the playground. My pets, my dogs don't even want to walk across this property. What else can you call it but what it is? It is environmental racism. I agree with you, Ken.
I'm going to add something to your. I'm going to add something, if I may. I'm sorry, Vanessa. I mean to interrupt.
No, go ahead.
You're 100% correct, but there's something else in the mix. It's called lack of courage. Cowards. They're freaking cowards. The Detroit News and the Detroit Free Press should be out there saying, let's protect our kids this time.
Absolutely.
Why isn't it important enough? We waited till they got sick in Flint. We waited till they got sick all over this country. Maybe now we need to take action. And maybe they will. Maybe they will. But we and our friends and our colleagues here, we're going to be talking about it until somebody starts listening.
But we see dumping. We see other states dumping toxic stuff in Michigan. It's not just in Detroit. Downriver, we see some landfills.
You have never been down here.
Huh? Yeah.
You've never been down there.
I've been Wyandotte. That's my experience. Allen Park. But
you're dipping your toe in the pond there.
Yeah. I'm still making a plan for Trenton. I want you and Teresa to, show me around. Make me a believer.
Bring your chemical suit.
Yeah. But I think you know what? When people don't have the money, they dump it. It's not just in black neighborhoods. It's in poor neighborhoods or where people don't have the political wherewithal. And we're seeing shit dumped here in our state, and we've got the Great Lakes. We've got to protect, the water system here,
Well, Adolph Mongo said local news is a joke. Who is this? I don't know how to say it. Chola, whatever. I'm messing up your name, but you know who I'm talking about. Says Detroit is a federal land. It's been under investigation over 3 times in the last 15 years. The Interior Department should be committed to recognizing the cabinets with the help of Janice Winfrey. You don't like my music, says Flint is poor. Dorian Denard says if they dug up the suburbs, you'll find it was a waste dump for over 70 automakers that were in Detroit 100 years ago. That's why the government through GI Bills fueled white flight. You have Deborah Harris says they corrected that all. They correct it. That's all I can say. It is grass on the vacant lots where I live. She said they corrected it where she lives. Mr. Duckett says, are they going to release the locations of the toxic dirt? Allan, you are right. It's 50-50. You have suburban areas of Grand Blanc and Flushing may have been affected as well. Dorian Denard says cheap land, especially cheap when it's contaminated. Good point. Ms. Sheila said, Vanessa said what she says.
Dorian, anarchy starts with apathy.
Yes, Jim. Yep, Jim, that's exactly what they're going to do. DeWayla said all that, Jim. She agrees with you. G Money Hollywood said the news will find it important when it starts affecting quite a bit of the white population. That's facts, point blank, period. Deborah Harris says the bill now leads to Trump's desk to become law and reopen the government, restoring funding that has been frozen or halted. Uh, we also,
Kenneth, can you see that? I can't see it.
can
Kenneth said something about an incinerator.
which you
94.
talking about the incinerator off of I-75 in 94? Yes. You only have to think back to the Detroit incinerator days when you drive on I-94 and you had to roll your windows up and close your vents whenever that incinerator was fired up. You're absolutely correct,
I
Kenneth.
worked. If anybody ever worked in an incinerator,
I had a
it's
good
hotter
friend who
than.
worked there. Yeah, I had a good friend who worked there.
It's hotter than. Yeah, it's hot.
It was awful. And
Everybody had incinerators.
right. And G Money says it's no difference when black kids and black women go missing, they get no coverage. But as soon as a little white kid or white woman go missing, then it becomes not just a local story, but a national story. Mr.
Not wrong.
Mr.
He's not wrong.
He said environmental racism, even though a black contractor allegedly was responsible for the dumping of dirt in Detroit. Jim, they can't take action. They're bought and worried about their careers. The bottom line. That's for hog nuts.
He's not wrong either.
He's absolutely correct.
That's the biggest challenge.
Wait, what can you clarify? Is he talking about the media or?
Yes.
I don't know that the media. I think they're. I think it'll be interesting to see how the Free Press and the news cover the administration. I think you're going to see a lot of hand wringing over different things. And look, the Sheffield camp is going to call the editor and have lunch with the editor and say, "Hey, you guys are being racist. Why are you fucking with me?" And we're going to see, who knows, pushback in the newsroom where they say, "Well, why don't we look at do some positive stories?" But
so you think, oh wow, okay, because I think that she's been dealt with positively overall, with the exception of those last two stories.
Right.
The day of to me, the evening of the election.
Well, it was about a week before.
I think she was dealt with quite favorably. And I said, listen, if there's going to be a race, and there is a race, that if you're gonna dig up dirt on one person, dig it up on both. Let's have an even playing field. And maybe I was pipe dreaming, but that's the way I think that it should be. But it's not that way. Whoever has the biggest purse, get it. A shared story says we need Aaron Brockovich, and I was thinking about Aaron Brockovich when I started talking about the dirty dirt. You're absolutely correct. You also have, it says 75 and Clark X's where the toxicity is at Zug Island, where they're saying they're growing mangrove trees in that toxic waste for carbon credits. G Money Hollywood says, I think they will give Mary a little grace because they see her as the helm of Duggan. However, the tables can turn quickly. You never really know. Good comment, G Money Hollywood. Well, we have one more minute before we say goodnight. Jim, do you have any parting words?
I just want to say thanks to everybody. If we missed you tonight, I'm looking at you on a little iPad. That's not an excuse, but I can't see you. I'm sorry. You guys all look great, but I still can't see you.
Okay, Allan?
I just want to say I'm looking on a lighter note. I'm looking forward to the Lions game on Sunday against the Philadelphia Eagles. I think it'll be the true test. I think the last game they played, Washington was pretty battered. So hopefully Eagles are a top-notch team. So I'm looking forward to that game on Sunday night at 8:30.
Well, what I'm going to say is, listen, y'all know what we want you to do. We want you to tell all your people about the greatest show on these YouTube streets. We want you to like, subscribe, and share. And we want to thank those people who watch us every Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday, and those who watch the show after we've aired. We want to thank especially those that are just joining us. We thank you so much. Tell your friends about Detroit in Black and White. We'll see you again on Friday evening at 8:30 p.m. Be safe. Have a good evening. Good night.
Good night.
Thank you so much, guys.